The natural resources of northern Michigan are changing. Lakes and streams, wetlands and uplands, and forests of all kinds are showing the impacts of development, the invasion of non-native plants and animals, and the changing climate. The natural beauty, clean waters, and abundant wildlife that we hold so dear are at risk. But what are those risks, and just what is changing? How are resource experts and community organizations responding? And what can we do to protect our incredible natural resources? Welcome to Nature Change. In this program, we visit the Boardman River Nature Center to meet three resource specialists who happen to be brothers. Writer and Nature Change contributor Anne-Marie Oomen guides this family discussion.
Welcome to Nature Change. I'm Anne-Marie Oomen, writer, thinker, educator, and I'm here today on what I'm calling the Family Affair interview. We have discovered the Ratliff family, and they are a family. 4 of 5 brothers have all gone into natural resource arenas, and we're delighted to have gathered 3 of those brothers today, Reb, Fields, and Ty, and we're going to do an interview for Nature Change with this remarkable family. So let me introduce them to you first. Reb is Parkland Steward, all right, Parkland Steward for the Little Traverse Conservation District. Fields is Habitat Management Specialist for the Northwest Michigan Invasive Species Network. And Ty, you are the Director of Donor Relations for the Little Traverse Conservancy. So all of you are part of these admirable organizations that are doing so much with natural resources right now. What do you enjoy most about these fields? I mean, you're all outdoors, of course, that's been a given, but is it the talk? Is it the tools? What do you keep coming back to where you go? You have those days where you go, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good day.
I'll answer that one, if it's okay. For me, and this drives my wife crazy, it's the people. So I do land conservation for 20 years, and she'll ask, what's this property like? What was amazing? And I talk about the person that was connected to it, whether it was a farmer or third generation landowner or a logger. Being out in the field and the natural resources is wonderful, but you find all these great people that are connected to it.
That's very cool. Yeah. What about you, Reb?
For me, I would say it's more that it's kind of a selfless career. I feel like it's a noble line of work where I'm kind of fighting, for Mother Earth and nature.
Yeah.
So not so heavy on the human component of it, but I
could have predicted that.
but just knowing that the work that I do is making a positive change for our environment.
There's so many threats to the natural world right now, and many of the young people I speak with are a little discouraged because it's overwhelming. Like, where do you start? What do you do? How do you combat the darkness of this time?
Do we combat it? I'm not sure. We're always
Maybe
discouraged.
not. Maybe, yeah. How do you grapple with that?
I would say just one thing that always kind of re-energizes me is that we're plugging along and work's really stressful, but one thing we do every year is we go on like a family fishing trip. And just going out and actually enjoying the outdoors, non-work related is very rewarding and kind of re-energizes you and kind of keeps you going and helps me understand more why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Is those moments with family and friends, like enjoying the stuff we're working to save. So.
Yeah. What's the hardest part?
I think right now, us having science backgrounds and a love for nature and the outdoors and Mother Nature and ecology is just constantly threatened by political, social, or emotional views or conflicts that are in total conflict with science or Mother Nature. There's things out there, and it's from game management to climate change to some things on a very local level to a global level, and we're just continually in conflict or bombarded with things that that don't make sense from a science standpoint, that they're totally political or social or emotional.
I mean, he definitely nailed it on the head with that.
Yeah.
Funding's always an issue, so if anyone would like to donate, no.
Sure.
I've got that in.
But on top of the challenges that Ty said, we're always fighting to justify what we do, and it's a kind of a shame to use so much energy just trying to convince people that it's important work when it should be a given.
Yeah. You're all in this incredible field. You have different viewpoints about what you do, and you have different tasks, but you're all sticking with it. So somewhere there have to be knock your socks off moments. Give me an example.
Doing lamb conservation for 20 plus years, that some of these lamb projects take 12 plus years to do. And then you finally do one, and it was a lot of ups and downs, and we've had the opportunity to take my wife and 3 kids to a nature preserve that I helped protect, or was a big part of doing. And to have my wife Sarah say, "Hey, your dad did this, or was a part of doing this," and my kids appreciate it and say, "Wow." And it just comes back to just being real proud of that.
Your kids saying, "Wow, Dad."
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's powerful for me.
Yeah.
You know off the top of your head how many acres that you've been a part of?
Oh, good question.
Millions.
Millions.
Millions?
It's a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's quite
No,
impressive.
I don't know, but it's a lot. And again, just being part of that team, though. I mean, I'm not saying I'm taking
No,
credit for
but
those,
you're
just playing a part in all these great land projects.
What about you?
Knock your socks off moment, I kind of remember, I'll go with a throwback story. It was when I was maybe 5 or 6 years old. My dad took us fishing on our pontoon boat on Torch River. And I remember the moment when I caught my first fish. And I remember it very well. I had a little Snoopy fishing pole with little Charlie Brown bobber, and caught a little tiny rock bass, but I still enjoy fishing today, and a lot of the conservation work we do is based around lakes and shorelines and rivers, and so I've gained an affinity towards water at that moment in life.
Beautiful.
I don't think we ever told him though, but my dad actually just tied the fish on it and then threw it out there. But
It was a setup.
it was a setup.
He still has that Snoopy pole. That's what he uses. Can't let it go.
Nature Change, of course, is interested in the things we're perceiving that are changing, thus the title. Can you think of a clear signal of something that, I mean, we all have a general sense of change, but something that you're seeing right now that you're looking at that you know is changing and that you are concerned about?
I think the dramatic weather changes. I mean, it's so clear that we used to have thaws here and there, or cold winter, or colder sections of winter, but just everything is just so dramatic, from more hurricanes or earlier winters to later winters to these dramatic thaws. It's just more extremes to the weather.
Yeah.
Everything is extreme with the weather, and I think that's a clear sign that something is going on.
Yeah.
I think we see it in the both water levels, and also with the seasons being the most dramatic too, like how soon winter comes and then leaves and then comes again. I'm seeing it just in the field work of just how a longer field season, and then it seems like it's colder than it was last year, but it just seems like very dramatic.
Much more erratic.
Yeah.
What about you, Reb? What are the changes that you can really put your finger on?
Every time a piece of land is impacted, the way in which it comes back, it's never, with all the different non-native and invasive species, the vegetation composition is different, and so I think we're losing a lot of our species, our good native species diversity and compositions.
So do the invasive species come back first? Is that what you start to see first if a piece of land is?
Yep, quite often, and it also kind of will, hinder the way in which the plant communities are coming back. With the habitat loss, we can't really afford to lose our quality native ecosystems that we have left.
Yeah, what are you seeing?
Definitely what I've noticed as I started this career is I'm just surprised at the resistance of, some of the public accepting this sort of stuff, whether it's like climate change or realizing that habitat loss does have an impact. It's just surprising how challenging it is to show people that this is a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to tell your children about the future of the natural resources?
Be a doctor or an engineer. No, I don't know if I'll ever have that that moment where I sit the kids down and I say something really significant. I think it's just day-to-day life.
You won't have that moment.
I won't have that moment. Yeah, if you're watching this, you'll know that. I think it's just those day-to-day interactions with them. The actions speak more than the words. Just getting them out and just giving them the exposure is all I can do. And
yeah, which is apparently what happened in your childhoods, that your parents were willing to let you be out there and risk falling in and getting wet and getting dirty and all
Absolutely.
those things.
So
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage them to be a voice, whether they do make a career out of it or not. There's plenty of people that also, in their spare time or just in good conversation, spread the word of, just caring for our resources.
Yeah. As a corollary to that, if you were to say to an audience one thing that you can do right now to help the natural resources, what would be the one message that you'd leave?
I think find something you like and volunteer. And I think, with the bias of volunteer for a natural resource cause or group or a nonprofit, but there's just volunteering shows a connection to, something that you enjoy. So I think volunteering is huge. I think not everybody can donate money or, things, but I think you can always donate your time and your passion for something, and that's a good start, is volunteering.
Wow. Take it to heart.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'm just curious, you had the Snoopy pole.
Still has it.
Yeah, still has it. Do you really still have it?
I don't.
it might still be around. I don't know.
It could be. I wish I did.
So you guys have all these tools here. What is it? What does? I mean, I can identify the hatchet and the loppers, but what is this thing?
Yeah. Well, that's a polar bear, and that's the brand name, but it's a weed wrench, and we use it to pull out invasive shrubs.
Oh,
so
cool.
it grabs the bottom, and then it uses leverage to just pop it right out of the ground. We actually do rent them out, so if the public wants to use them, they're welcome to come and check it out. And then we also have volunteer days where we'll have 4 or 5 of those, and it's very satisfying using those and popping on the ground.
It looks ominous.
Yeah,
It looks dangerous in some
it's
ways.
It's less threatening than it looks, and especially when you get into high school and middle school, kids just love it.
So this is, again, the array of volunteerism. Yeah, right. I can't thank you guys enough. What an admirable family, and how much fun to talk with you, and I've just really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And that is Nature Change and the Ratliff brothers talking about their world in the natural resources. Thank you.